Hello, I'm Henry Quilter and you're watching Buckingham News. Our top stories. Tens of thousands of pounds worth of tools have been recovered in the Buckingham tool theft case. There have been several reports of kidnapped dogs in the area, and the owners are left devastated. And can the Buckingham barons redeem themselves from last week's disheartening loss? Buckingham Old Jail is currently hosting an exhibition exploring the history of India's contribution to the First World War. Exciting new research pays particular attention to newly discovered stories of individual British and Indian soldiers. Camilla Zangari reports.
During the First World War, the Indian Army contributed a large number of divisions and brigades in alliance with the British Army. Over 1.5 million Indian troops fought during the war, with at least 74,000 dying. They fought against the German Empire in German East Africa and on the Western Front.
It portrays the Indian subcontinent contribution to the First World War. We've heard a lot about other Commonwealth or Empire people that assisted at the time, principally the Australians, who of course got massacred at Gallipoli in Turkey. But very little has been said about Indians, Sri Lankans, the subcontinent. They put in a similar contribution to all the other troops fighting for the Allies at the time, but it seems to have been forgotten.
Buckingham Old Jail showcases the story of the connection between the Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, a unit of which served as part of the British Indian Army during the war years. The Indian Army contributed to a large division and independent brigades to Mediterranean, European and Middle East theatres. The importance of the Indian Army will be discussed on the 8th of March at the Buckingham Museum. This is Camilla Zingari for Buckingham News.
There was an epidemic of dog thefts in Buckingham, and the distraught owners are still looking for answers. Timothy Incombe has a story.
Several dogs have been stolen in Buckingham, with owners putting up posters and sign notes. Till record, only one dog has been found. We have contacted one of the owners who are still in search of their missing dog.
I do, but as long as it takes, and more it is, so then basically I'm losing my hope. People from Buckingham, they were quite nice, trying to help, asking me the questions and that, but I think that there's something wrong happened to him, to be honest, because it's long. So well, he has a black coat, and he was kind of like fluffy, heavy fluffy, because we just meant to go basically to get a haircut for him, but it never happened.
If you have lost or found a dog, you should call this number 0844 800 3220. This is Timothy Incombe for the Buckingham News.
On the 31st of January, self-made entrepreneur Karen Adams spoke to a group of eager business students about the ins and outs of running her own company. She talked in detail about becoming successful in the business world while maintaining her personal life at the same time. Max Cawthorne has the story.
In the Anthony de Rothschild building last Wednesday evening, aspiring business students attended a talk hosted by Karen Adams, CEO of her own business, The Prosperous Shop, a tech startup designed to help small businesses grow in profitability. Her focus was to inform people about how she manages her day-to-day life within the business world, and shared her past experiences with the group.
I think it's essential for students to step outside of academia and the textbooks and hear from the real world. Courses will teach you so much, but you really need to step outside of that and hear the struggles and the real life scenarios.
As Karen is someone who overcame the struggle of starting and running a successful business, she had many gems of advice for everyone in attendance.
Be rigorous, be careful, check people out, don't feel impolite or reticent about asking the hard questions. Passion, I think, is vitally important. I think if you don't have that, and if you don't have a vision, you could stall, because they're the fuel that drive you.
The interactivity of the talk allowed for many discussions where everyone was invited to share their opinions, and many came away with newfound encouragement to help them with their studies, and some with their ventures that lie ahead.
Being authentic and knowing yourself, and then also knowing the people around you.
I've got to persevere and keep fighting for our dreams.
To work on yourself and have a self-beliefs.
Talks will be held every Wednesday in ADRB 1. This is Max Cawthorne reporting for Buckingham News.
In other news, Tens of thousands of pounds worth of stolen tools have been recovered following an ongoing series of van thefts across Buckinghamshire. At least 5 arrests have been made in conjunction with the stolen tools. 2 containers containing the stolen tools were located in the Aylesbury Vale district and 2 in Milton Keynes. A public meeting on the recent trend in crimes nature is due to be held at 7 p.m. on the 15th of February at Buckingham Town Council Chambers, but the location is subject to change. Simon Heffer, a well-respected author, arrived at Buckingham last week to hold a talk on the Great War. Jordan Galloway went to find out more.
Sir Anthony Sheldon has organised a talk on the Great War here at the Radcliffe Centre. Simon Heffer is a published author, political commentator and acclaimed journalist, well known for his work with the Daily Mail. He has published books such as The Age of Decadence and Like the Roman, The Life of Enoch Powell. Simon Heffer has given multiple talks on the Great War. He focuses on the overlooked aspects and the impact that they have. We spoke to some people who went to his talk to find out what they thought of it.
I thought it was absolutely fascinating. It's a period of history that I'm particularly interested in, and but more, the impressive thing was he spoke for 45, 50 minutes without looking at a note, without a pause, or an
I thought it was very insightful and informative, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the machinations behind the machinery that was the First World War.
It was very well presented in just picking out all the really important things that were going on.
In 1960, Lloyd George is circling around Asquith, he is on the movers, and events happen that make it very powerful for him.
Simon Heffer talks about how people look at the slaughter and suffering that came from the war, but not how it revolutionised British politics, culture and life. He goes into more detail in his lecture. This is Jordan Galloway reporting for Buckingham News.
On Monday, the University of Buckingham held their 4th matriculation ceremony. Suki Sagu has more.
The university officially welcomed its new students yesterday for the first matriculation of the year. Anthony Selden spoke and encouraged students to have a balanced work and social life, and left the floor for the other deans to speak. And then, for each department, the names of the new students were called out, and they simultaneously became members of the university. This is Suki Sagu for Buckingham News.
And now over to sports with Joanna Hall.
Thank you, Henry. Cheerleading, a sport that helps improve stamina and coordination. With these attributes, you become more conditioned and coordinated. However, the number of women partaking in activities is much larger than the amount of men. Amarchi Duru is finding out why.
Buckingham's very own cheerleading squad, the Bullets, consists of 19 women but just 3 men. With this sport not being popular in the men's category, I'm here to find out why.
Cheerleading is widely considered a woman's sport that sometimes is not even considered a sport. But cheer requires strength, balance, concentration, and dedication. Cheerleading is even the #1 female sport and #2 in catastrophic injuries when compared to all sports.
Quite girly and we dance and we wear like short shorts and stuff, but it's completely stupid because like we need strong people to lift.
I enjoy cheerleading because it helps my fitness, it makes me more flexible, and I mean look at how high I can kick now. So I can only kick like this for now, it's like that. So yeah, it makes me more flexible, more agile, and it's really fun.
Cheerleading consists of strength, cardio and conditioning. It requires immense skill to perform without injury. This is Amarachi Duru for Buckingham News.
Last night, the Barons took to the court to redeem last week's loss. Sophie Rook watched the game unfold.
The Buckingham Barons took on the Northampton Falcons in their first league challenge of the term. Play was intense from the outset, with both Armagh and Olasawa hitting 3-pointers within the first 2 minutes. Fast-paced shots and solid defence saw the Barons charge across the court as an unstoppable unit that the Falcons could just not keep up with. Into the second quarter, the points gap only widened, and although the opposition did bag a few sharp 3-pointers of their own, this was not enough to apply pressure. Tactics were tight and rebounds were plentiful, giving the Barons the opportunity to really storm ahead and leave the Falcons behind. Unfortunately, penalty frequency did increase into the third quarter, leading to multiple free throws and some overeager players seeing a few players hit the floor. However, unlike previous matches, no serious injuries occurred and sportsmanship remained a prominent theme throughout. The fourth quarter welcomed a remarkable 50-point gap and saw the Barons' intense focus ease up slightly, allowing the new players more chance to have their moment in the spotlight. Team spirit was astronomical, and a larger crowd than usual made the atmosphere one to be remembered. The university sealed the deal with one final basket that saw a phenomenal win of 85-29. Next Tuesday's game against the MK Wolves is set to be a close one. The Barons will have to be ready. This is Sophia Rook for Buckingham News.
Saturday evening saw the Guildford Flames visit Planet Ice MK for an elite league fixture against Milton Keynes Lightning. Philip Johnson has more.
As part of a regular league fixture, the MK Lightning hosted the Guildford Flames. The game was highly anticipated after MKL defenceman Matt Nickerson had punched one of the Guildford fans after the last game. The game itself was fast-paced and full of action, with Flames player John Dunbar first to break the scoreline stalemate. Eager to strengthen their lead, Flames would go on to rack up their second and third tally, scored by Jeff Walker and a second for John Dunbar respectively. In the opening of the second period, the Guildford Flames continued to ensure victory by scoring another early goal. However, the Lightning would rise to meet this challenge and score one of their own, much to the delight of the Lightning spectators. Although both teams would score an additional goal, the score at full time was Milton Keynes Lightning 2, Guildford Flames 5. This is Philip Johnson for Buckingham News.
And now back to the studio.
Thank you for watching Buckingham News. We'll see you next week.